Hi, my name's Kevin and welcome to another video. This video is the last in a short series I've done about the cutter grinder I've made, and in this episode we're going to have a look at resharpening the tips on an end mill. So what I'll do is I'll bring you in close and we'll have a look at an end mill, and I'll point out the various parts of the end mill and then how we're going to go about sharpening it. Well, here's our cutter. This particular cutter is a 4 fluted cutter, so it's got 4 cutting tips, and as you can see here, it's got blunt through the use of just cutting into steel and whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to resharpen 2 angles onto each tooth, and we've got a primary angle and a secondary angle. So the primary angle, also known as the land, hasn't got as much angle as what the secondary angle has got. So what that enables the cutter to do is, we need these 2 angles so that the cutter doesn't bind up with chips coming off as it's cutting. So the back rake, or the secondary angle, allows the chip to disappear, and then it's not just going to clog the cutter up. So what we'll do, we'll set that up in the cutter itself and get that all trued up using obviously measurement equipment, and then we'll have a go at cutting. And I'm going to cut the primary angle first, and then we'll cut the secondary angle. I looked at the manufacturer's recommendations for this cutter. It's a Chinese cutter, and the primary angle was set at 2 degrees and the secondary angle was at 10 degrees. So here I'm just putting on an angle machine to find those angles. So obviously the first cut is going to be the 2 degrees cut. Well, that's our primary angle done, so now we'll set up for the secondary angle. Right, we'll just bring the cutting wheel up to where we need that. And then we'll start the secondary angle. Well, we've finished that cutter on the ends, and I'll try and get this to focus. And as you can see, we've got the lead edge, or the primary edge, and the secondary edge. So that's the tips all resharpened, and now we're going to have a look at the flutes. As you can see, they've got a bit of damage down at the front here. So we'll regrind those, and hopefully we can make this cutter, new again. So obviously we're going to lose some of the dimension when we grind the flutes. We're going to lose. This is a 10mm cutter, so we're going to lose. That 10mm is going to drop down. But that's only if you're cutting a slot, that if you want a 10mm slot or whatever. But if you're going to just be like tidying the end of a piece of material or whatever, then it isn't going to matter about just losing a few microns off the width. So anyway, so we'll have a look at that next. So I'll set up for that, and then I'll show you how we grind the flutes. Well, the first job is to set the finger up. So we're going to put this on the other side of the opposite flute to what we're going to be cutting. And this takes a bit of messing around to get it into the right location. And obviously we've got to have the cutter itself set at the right orientation towards the cutting wheel, so we cut the right angle. Well, we eventually got that set up. That took a bit of messing around just to get the all the angles right and everything. So here we are. We're now going to start to actually do a cut on this flute. And as you can see the flute there and the damage what it's got on it, and that will gradually disappear as we go deeper with the cuts. Well, that's the first cut. As you can see, it's just starting to show on that primary edge there. So we'll take a few more thousandths off just to get rid of that damage what's on that flute, and then obviously we'll do the remaining 3 flutes the same. Well, that's that cutter finished. I did manage to get most of them little nicks out on the primary edge, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the cutter out and see how the finish comes out. If it doesn't come out very good, then obviously I can put that back in the cutter grinder and we can grind a bit more. This is a larger end mill which I've done as well. It's a 20mm end mill. Again, it's a Chinese end mill, but this one come out pretty well. as you can see right at the top of the flutes there, you just can't get the grind to the right at the top. You know, the finger will only go so far. So what I'll do is I'll just grind those off by hand. So if I do a full depth grind, you know, a full depth cut into a piece of material, that's not going to show up. So well, it's time to test those two cutters. So at the moment here I've got the 20mm cutter in the mill, and I'm just going to run a cut straight across the top of this aluminium, and we'll see what sort of surface finish we end up with. Well, that cut's come out really well. So what I'm going to do now, I'll run the cutter back and then we'll take a heavier cut and see how that comes out. Well, that cut was really good as well, so I'm happy with that. I'll take it out with the vise and then you can see the piece of aluminium up close and just see the quality of the cut. Next I'll try a piece of steel and see how that goes. So I'll go and grab a piece of scrap and we'll put that in the vise and give that a shot. This is just a piece of mild steel, so I'm just taking a light cut to begin with and then I'll take a heavier cut. So it seemed to handle that well and I was happy with the finish on there. So what we'll do now, we'll take a cut from the side here and we'll see how that comes out on both the, you know, on the bottom face and on the side face, and see whether we get a decent finish on that. that also come out pretty well, so I was happy with that as well. So I'll take it out of the vise and then I'll give you a close-up of actually, you know, what the cut looked like. So not too bad at all. This is only not that particularly good quality steel. It's just some scrap I picked up from somewhere. So what I'll do now is I'll just put the 10mm cutter in and we'll give that a try in this same piece of steel and we'll see what the quality's like on that. So again, I'm just going to run a cut straight across the top and we'll just see how that goes. And then we'll run a cut down the side, same as the other cutter, and we'll just see what sort of quality cut we get out of that. Well, those two cutters come out really well and I'm really happy with the results. Well, that's it for this series on the tool cutter grinder, and I've got a load of other projects on the go and projects coming up, so we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.